Welcome back. Well, there's our mayor, and it's a last-ditch effort he's talking about yesterday to perhaps save the Sonics. Seattle Mayor Greg Nichols has unveiled a $300 million renovation plan for Key Arena. It's a different one, a new one on the table. Nichols is calling on some heavy hitters in local business to step up and get it done, including Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer, John Stanton of Western Wireless, Costco CEO Jim Senegal, and Pacific Place developer Matt Griffin. And Matt Griffin is here with us this morning to talk about this plan. Matt, good morning.
Thank you.
Certainly good to have you here. I guess the big question would be, how did the topic between the four business leaders of you guys come up now saving the Sonics? I mean, imagine you four guys sitting around having coffee saying, yeah, I guess we can come up with $150 million. How did this happen?
Well, as you can imagine, it never happens quite like that.
Yeah.
Steve is the one that asked me to become involved in October and to look into this issue and see if we could figure out a plan that would make sense. And in doing it, we had a couple of objectives. One is to help Seattle Center. Again, we worry about a Key Arena not having an anchor tenant, being like the Frederick and Nelson building in downtown Seattle, which we were involved in I was involved in years ago. And then second of all, just believing that great cities have great things, and great things include opera, symphony, and professional sports.
Sure, yeah.
And if we have those things, we'll attract better talent to this community.
I think it's just interesting. A lot of people would say, what took you guys so long? You guys know how important this community is. You guys all have the wherewithal to step up and make a plan. Now the team has been sold. The NBA Commissioner David Stern has even said, look, the Sonics are going to be leaving. It's over. City leaders have said no. The legislature's basically said, don't bring that up in front of us now. It basically seems like it's even beyond the 11th hour.
Well, as you know, as they've said in the papers, I don't think the shot clock has run out yet. But
maybe we're in overtime.
The shot clock hasn't run out yet. But again, lots of these things, once you decide to do something, you wish you probably would have done it earlier. But again, it sort of takes a case of sort of all the moons lining up in the right place.
Right.
Basically, the people that have the funds have an interest, they have the time, the city's ready to talk, and all those pieces came together in the fall.
Okay, so basically as it sits right now, as I understand it, we have a $300 million renovation plan. You four kick in $150 million. It was originally 75. You said you'd put another 75 in. The whole quagmire here is that other $150 million, which obviously the state legislature, would they not, would have to agree then to continue some of these restaurant, hotel, rental car taxes that pay for Safeco Field and keep those going for Key Arena. And that is an issue that lawmakers don't seem that they're that curious about using taxpayer money for that. Can you get this done without the blessing of the legislature and that tax base?
I don't think we can get it done without the blessing of the legislature. So again, on the $150 million that comes in from the public financing, 75 of that comes from the city of Seattle, and the city council can do that.
Right. Okay.
So it's really only $75 million that we're talking to the state legislature about, and we're really saying that the taxes that exist in the restaurant and rental car tax that are authorized through 2016. After they've paid off all the Safeco bonds in 2011, 2012, we'd like to use part of those between then and 2016 to help generate the other $75 million.
All right. So, and we also know that the new owner, Clay Bennett, bought the team. We obviously know his intent to move the team back to Oklahoma City. Have the four of you or any one of you reached out to him yet? Had any conversation with him about this?
Oh, I would say only to say that he would see these names in the paper, but there's been no serious dialogue.
Are there any attempts at this point? I mean, I would think you guys come up with the big master plan. I mean, you're waving your big fat checkbook there at City Hall saying, look, guys, we can get this done. I would think he would be one of the first phone calls that would be made.
Well, in all these discussions, the NBA has said for a long time that Seattle, if you want to have a discussion, you really need to have a plan for a competitive arena, and it has to come along with a financing plan. So really, to get to that table and have an even discussion with the NBA, which would include Mr. Bennett, we basically need to make sure we have this financing plan for the renovated arena first, or else we can't have a serious discussion.
Quickly, do you think, what's your gut check telling you? Can the community get behind this? Because we've seen recent polls, a lot of people saying, we don't care if the Sonics leave town, we don't need the Sonics here anymore, basically kind of writing them off.
Oh, I would hope not. Certainly the support we've seen come out in the last 24 hours would say otherwise.
Okay.
I think it's significantly different when private people are willing to put in a significant amount of money for a civic facility.
That may turn it around a little bit. Quickly, if you can't save the Sonics and they're going to be going to Oklahoma City or somewhere else, would the plan that the four of you have put together hold in terms of pursuing another franchise to bring into Seattle?
It would if the legislature acts now. We really believe the time to have this negotiation or discussion with the NBA is between now and the time when they make their decision to move in the middle of April, and while the city has its pending lawsuit with the NBA.
All right. Matt, thank you. We're going to be following this closely, obviously, and this certainly makes it interesting. As you said, the shot clock's still running.
The shot clock's still
Matt
ticking.
Griffin, appreciate you coming in and sharing that with us. Also, you can sound off as well about this whole issue on our blog, where Oklahoma City television stations are already claiming Sonics basically as a local team, but we'd like to hear what you have to say. Just head to king5.com and go ahead, blog on.